when you start really looking at what's happening to the whole planet, from the standpoint of what the fossil fuel industry is doing, it makes you believe in two things. One is activism, and that we're really in a very, very dire moment. When you go to Beijing, and you know that you can't see 3 blocks down the street because of the coal-fired power plants that are polluting the air, or when you go to Samoa or Vanuatu or some of these island nations that have been hit by the largest cyclones in history, or who are going to be literally forced to leave their islands because of sea level rise, because the ocean will literally swallow those islands. You appreciate more than anything people who put yourselves on the front line, like what has happened at Seneca Lake, and what's happened throughout the fracking movement in New York State, and the climate movement in New York State. And, you know, in China, when you speak out, you can get arrested and get disappeared and nobody sees you for a decade. In Thailand, where I was, if you do Facebook posts against the king, somebody just got sentenced to 30 years. So here in America, doing something like this is like a walk in the park, right? And we have to understand that our ability to protest, our ability to go and get arrested, is one of those things that we should exercise more often, because the rest of the world is counting on us to stop projects like this. The rest of the world is counting on us to make progress for the future. The New York fracking ban is something that it makes no sense. And it is something that it really needs to be fought against. So I'm asking, of course, as I always do, President Obama to immediately cease this incredibly incoherent, unjust, and I will say tyrannical policy of supporting fracking, which is incredibly ironic and hypocritical, based on you, President Obama, your stance on climate change. How can you say this is okay? How can you let FERC, your agency, say that this is okay, at the same time as saying, well, we want to be the generation that actually stops the sea level rise, that stop climate change? How can you do that? So this is one of those losing the ability for us to function within a climate that supports life and human life is much scarier than, you know, a couple of weeks in jail, a couple of days in jail, whatever it is. We are all here because we see a greater threat on the horizon than perhaps a small jail sentence. You know, I've been in jail before. It's not that fun. But on the other hand, they do take your phone away. So you have this ability to think all of a sudden. You know, but at the same time, it's not a joke. It's a serious thing. And, you know, once you've surrendered your freedom, lots of things can happen to you, as we have found out recently in America. So this is not a joke. At the same time, the reason why people like myself do this, and I think everybody would agree, is because the threat of what could happen is much greater.
Well said. Well said.
Yes. All right.
Well, I'm
What do you mean? How do you get a pizza?
Somebody
Is there a way to deal this situation into a
Yeah,
pizza?
Go back in and
Nobody
make
went to jail.
I think you're in the wrong place. This is the courthouse.
No, it's not a courthouse, it's town hall.
No, everybody's coming in.
Everybody's coming,
Oh,
they're
but then
just
there's
checking
seven
if the
o'clock.
assistant or something.
Yeah,
7
before we
o'clock
start,
is going in.
The people are doing their
Okay,
second appearances or doing anything next.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Not a subsequent date or anything, huh?
No,
Not
they
yet.
said in the future.
From what I understood, they were going to give that information to Joe, and
Yeah.
then he was going to give it out to everybody.
She's much more clear than I am.
Okay.
No, they released you even though you're from out of state. You're gonna go in and
well,
tell
we're not.
the
I'm
judge,
not.
hey, wait a minute, hold them.
Yeah, no, they've been.